So, hello Matteo, welcome to the podcast Talking Oceans with me, the wonderful host, of course.
Yeah,
And we're here in Almeda now, right? During the lockdown.
yeah, we are. Hello, everybody. Yeah, hello, Ritis.
Yeah.
Good to be here with you, doing something different than just staying home for the whole day and waiting for 1 hour training in the evening.
Yeah.
Lockdown has been heavy so far. So
Cool, so just to introduce you to the viewers, I'm sure like 99% of people know you, but yeah, you've been competing on PWA Slalom Tour for over a decade now, right?
yeah,
And with the best result being obviously the world champion in 2016,
Yeah.
vice champion 2 times?
3 times.
3 times.
Three
yeah.
times and 2 times third. I did 3 in 2015 and third in foil last year.
Foil, of course. Yeah.
So
So you have quite a bit of experience in
Yeah.
windsurfing, would you say?
yeah,
But
we're
yeah,
living out of it for quite a long time now.
for how long?
7 years. I'm professional.
Okay. And before that, did you have some sort of a job?
Before
on the
that, I
side?
was teaching windsurfing
Okay.
in the sailing club that is still sponsoring me,
Yeah.
and in my hometown in Albisola, in Italy. And I was studying. I was studying business.
Ah, so you finished university, yeah?
I haven't. No.
You
No.
started studying.
Yeah, I
Okay.
started studying. I was studying. I said. I didn't
Yeah.
say I finished studying.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to that, but let's
Sure.
start. Let's start at the beginning of where did you grow up, basically, and
Yeah, I grew up in Liguria. It's the region in the northwest of Italy, close to France. It's a windy place. Nobody really thinks that it's so windy there. It's more famous for waves, especially in Italy. But the west coast of that part is windy. It's close to Nice, close to Monte Carlo, like between Genova and Monte Carlo, it's in the middle.
Okay.
The town is called Albisola. That's the village, and yeah, I've been growing up there, going to school
It's
there.
right on the seaside.
On the seaside, obviously, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. I was living like 1.5 km from the sea. I still live there. It's kind of the same place because I'm living alone, not with my parents, but I live in the same street, so it's
Okay, nice. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
no, alone.
Sole child.
Yeah.
Same here. So we're both arrogant pricks, huh?
Yeah, apparently that's what they say. No?
Spoiled. What else?
That's what I don't feel that way, but apparently that's what they say.
Of course, we wouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And how did you get into windsurfing then? Obviously, living near the sea, I guess.
Yeah, like
helps.
my dad started early 80s, so when the windsurfing started to grow in
Mhm.
Europe, and he has been windsurfing like since I remember, since I was born.
Yeah.
I was born in '89, and then I tried on a holiday. We were on a holiday trip in Egypt, and they wanted me to try in this lagoon in Hurghada, and I tried. I could go just up and down. I hated it because I was like going downwind all the time. I couldn't come upwind. I had to swim upwind. I remember these small fishes like biting my feet, and I was like 7 years old.
Okay.
And back then I was swimming. I was competing in swimming. I was a pretty good swimmer.
Okay.
And
When did you start swimming?
I was 3.
Oh, really? So
yeah,
early?
yeah. I wanted to do athletics.
Okay.
I don't know. I loved like I don't know how to say in English. Salto con l'asta is like the jump that you use the pole.
Oh, pole vaulting.
Yeah, I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I was big. I was tall and heavy.
Were you
and,
fat as a kid?
I was tall and I was a little fat. Mainly tall. And when I was born, I was 5 kilos. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Massive baby.
So basically, they like he told my mom, it is better if he does like a water sport, like something that is in the water, because like this, water polo, swimming, whatever. Then I started swimming. I was pretty good at it, and then I kept swimming until I was 11. Basically, when actually I started windsurfing in 7, and then I restarted at 10.
So from 7 to 10, you kind of like, you tried it in
Yeah, I
Egypt,
tried
you
it.
didn't
I didn't
like
like it. And then I saw my dad. We were going to Garda Lake for holidays in summertime because in my place is windy, autumn, winter, and spring. But summer there's no wind. It's only a holiday place. And so we were going in summer. And I was watching my dad rigging up, bringing all this gear. I was like, nah, I would never do that. It's too boring, too heavy, like whatever. No?
Yeah.
And then at 10, in my place where I was living on the beach, basically like some friends of mine, they did they did some lessons, windsurfing lessons. So I wanted to show them that I was already able to go. No, my dad was there, but he was not interested. He was like whatever. No?
Yeah.
So I jumped on one of these gear and I went up and down, and I loved it. It was different, no, than being alone in Egypt. I don't know, was cool. And then at the end of that summer, I started planning, and I told my mom I didn't want to swim anymore. She's like, "Ah, you're gonna lose interest in the sport. You're gonna get fat. You're gonna get whatever." Because swimming is a sport, windsurfing, all these kind of sports are like they're not really sports. No? Like, yeah, but I don't care. I want to do that.
But so you progressed quite quickly in the first summer, huh? If you started like being a 10 and you went from basically just learning to planning in your first summer.
Yeah. Like I started in June. In June they did these lessons, and I was like just cruising up and down, and I loved it. So every day I would try to go. And I was allowed to go. We had like these channels to get on the water.
Mm-hmm.
These, like you cannot get everywhere in summertime in Italy on the water. You need to go out
like the specific zones, like here, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they are quite narrow, quite tight. But my dad said, "Okay, I'm working, and you're a kid, so you can go only in that zone." So I was spending my whole day like jibing and ducking inside this like.
Oh, so that's how you learned to jibe so well, huh?
Might be.
That's the real secret.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to figure out in the tour how Matteo jibes so good.
Yeah, and then actually some days my grandma was there because my parents were both working, so I was at the beach with my grandma, and I would like escape for half an hour outside and come back in this zone. But yeah, this was the first summer, and then my dad bought me my first wetsuit for the winter. I was super excited. Actually, they stole it. I think in December they fucking stole it, and I was crying. But yeah, that was the start.
And what kind of gear were you using at the start?
I had when I actually like did these lessons, there was Aloha. Mm-hmm. They were using the Tiga Aloha for the lessons, and I was on that. And then as soon as I decided to go a little bit more in June, my dad brought me to this shop in Genova. There was a surf activity. There is actually a guy that now has a bed and breakfast guest house in Cabo Verde itself.
Oh, nice.
He opened, he lives there now. So this guy had a surf activity that was the main shop in Liguria in my region. And he brought me to the beach where he had all the boards, old boards, whatever, and he took out a F2 bullet. And he gave me, it's like, this is for you, keep it. It was already a little bit old.
It was like a slalom board, or
it was
like,
a slalom board. It was a slalom board. Was like 98 liters or 105, I don't remember. And but it was my board, no?
Nice.
And then I had a sail. I think I had a 5-meter old North sail that my dad took out the cambers from. Like made it like lighter and flat. It cut it a little bit. I don't know.
So self-made sail almost.
Kind of like half, and then I started like that, and then I did my first planning stuff on that, and then I had like a freestyle wakeboard.
Do you remember the first time you got planing?
I remember. Yeah.
How was it?
I was insane. It was the best feeling I ever had before.
So it was still at the home spot,
yeah? Yeah, it was. I think it was either September, October. It was still kind of warm. It's still kind of summer in my place until mid-October. Mm-hmm. But it was like morning, was windy offshore, and I got this. Actually, I'm a regular sailor, but I mean surfing, whatever.
Yeah.
But my first playing, I did on starboard tack.
I've never thought about this in windsurfing, but yeah, I guess it affects it.
Yeah.
But you even remember what tack you were on, huh?
I remember perfectly, vividly the moment I did my first planning with the feet in the footsteps.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were going as fast as the rocket or something?
Wow, unreal. I felt that I could change direction because I was already planing.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was playing without like this, without the harness. Then I started middle summer to use the harness, but I love to like lay back whatever, but I have the feet moving, you know, like you start
so
playing,
you're going all
like
over
this.
the place.
And then I remember I put the feet in, and I could finally decide where the board was going.
Yeah.
And I started going like doing like this shitty stuff, whatever, no, this
up
funny
and
stuff,
down,
up, down, these curves and stuff. I didn't know how to stop. I just crashed, but I loved it.
Yeah, I think that's a typical thing.
And I was like, fuck, I wanna do this. I just wanna do this, no? So I started looking at the tree outside of the window of the school. I still remember the tree I had in front of the window of the. It was not high school, like from 11 to 13 you go to this middle school.
Yeah.
And we had this pine tree in front of the window, and if it was moving in a certain way, I knew it was windy.
So were you then skipping lessons to go windsurfing?
No, I mean I was 11, 12. I was not skipping anything.
Yeah.
Just waiting. The whole week, Saturday, my dad would pick me up from school, and we would go to the beach and go sailing. It was sick.
Were your friends from school windsurfing as well, or?
I always went to this sailing club that is on the beach. We were doing everything there: skimboarding, surfing, diving, whatever, no? And then, like, a couple of friends were already going there with their dad, and so I brought them into windsurfing. Another guy came from Genova to live in my place, and then he came to the place he was already sailing. So we were like a group of 4 or 5 kids.
Similar age or windsurfing?
Yeah, similar age. Like this guy from Genova was 2 years younger. Came a bit later, and then I had like the guy that is still my best friend was already going there because his dad was sailing a flying junior, flying Dutchman, flying junior, and the other guy just came. We met at school. We started skateboarding together at 12 or something, and I told him, why don't you come and try windsurfing? And from there we had a group, and we started like we were growing fast actually. Started doing speed loops at 14 and stuff. That was super cool.
Do you think like having like a group of friends influenced you to like be more serious about windsurfing and like stay with windsurfing?
Well, serious is a big word. I guess for swimming, because of swimming, I didn't want to compete anything because I compete so much in swimming that I was against any competition. I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
So we were like meeting there, and however the condition was, we were either sailing, skateboarding, skimboarding, surfing, depending on how the sea was, no? And that was it, like just having fun with the friends. Obviously, having a group helps you a lot to grow up because you are pushing each other, especially if this second guy that came in was really talented. Was somebody that has no fear, like just goes for it, whatever. So like we started pushing each other, and we were growing in everything, no? Yeah. Snowboarding as well, like all the board sports, let's say.
So all the extreme sports pushing each other to
get that was super cool.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's the key of like growing up and having fun. In the end, you want to have fun with friends, so if you have a good group of friends, even if it's small, and you can do barbecues with them, you share your passions, you share a lot of stuff, it's a lot easier to grow up and have fun.
And do you know when you got like really, really hooked on windsurfing? Because like a lot of people know like the moment where they're like still windsurfing and kind of unsure about it, it's fun activity, and then something switches and then they're like, okay, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
No, like I remember this moment when I got cleaning, and I knew that feeling was special, and I wanted to do it forever. Like I was like, this is the best thing I ever tried. Then I had a bit of a low, but not in windsurfing, because like I started doing so many sports. As I said, I was doing a lot of snowboarding in the winter, actually, mainly. And I loved surfing as well. I started to surf more and everything, so I had less time to go windsurfing. So I was windsurfing still, but I was doing... So like when I was 14, 15, actually is the moment probably of my life when I saved less, between 14 and 16. So I was still saving, but less than other moments, because I was doing a lot of other stuff, no? Yeah. Apart from that. And then I thought that if I wanted to get good at one thing, I had to kind of focus instead of like doing a lot of stuff, because otherwise you are okay in everything, but you're never good in anything. No? Yeah. So then I decided to do like some snowboarding winter and like surf and windsurf. And that's it.
Were you doing any other sports at that time? Like between 14 and 16 besides surfing and snowboarding?
I was skateboarding a lot, I was skimboarding a lot. Skimboard I was doing a lot because when there's no wind, no waves, you can still skimboard. You can do tricks on
Oh yeah.
on the seaside. It's super fun. It's like skateboarding on the sea.
Yeah.
That's the thing I did the most, I guess.
I guess now like that we'll have the opportunity to go do some exercise between 5 a.m. and 9. That will be something you could start doing again, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I think you want to do something anyway, no? So.
Yeah.
And the main point was to have fun. No, I didn't have any idea of competing or something. I wanted to do a ball sport with friends and have fun.
Mhm.
And then that just came in. No, then a friend of us had that with this motorboat. We were going wakeboarding. I mean, we were just like doing whatever we could.
Action sports just to
Yeah.
have fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And were your family like supporting in you, like wanting to do all these action sports, or were they like more like being like saying, "Oh, stay safe" or something like that? You know, as some parents do?
My dad was scared that I would get injured, but he loved it. He was loving it because obviously he did enduro before, competing enduro, motorbikes.
Oh, okay, nice.
I actually started doing enduro as well, and
Really?
I did enduro as well for a few years, and I did it when I was 15, 16. In the winter I did a lot, not a lot, but I did more. So as well, I was never good at it, but I liked it a lot. I like motorsports, so actually that took out time as well because I had other friends doing that, so I was going with them. I just loved like being outside and doing shit.
Yeah, but you're never drawn into more traditional sports, you know, like obviously being Italian, football must be really
No,
big.
never. Actually, my dad hates it.
Football?
Yeah, my dad hates it. My mom doesn't mind. She's like doesn't watch any matches. And I tried. I was never. The only sport with some kind of ball or whatever I liked was basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried, but was never good at it. But I still like. I mean, if I can play a little bit, I love it. But I never liked soccer. Volleyball is fine, beach volley, but I never had any attraction. I mean, I like adrenaline, or if I want to share something with friends, it's not like being a team. It's like as if you go snowboarding in powder, and you do like a line together. Then you just stop. You watch your friend doing that. Then you talk about it. You pass there.
You laugh
you
about
pass there.
them crashing.
Yeah, that's I think the best thing. You know, it's not being in a team.
So you never done any team sports?
No. I don't really like the idea of depending on somebody else's performance for my result.
Yeah, I feel you completely.
Yeah.
I've done like a little bit, like I've done rowing and I've played like a little bit of basketball, but it never really stuck with me, and also kind of drifted towards the individual sports.
I think if you do individual sports, you have difficulties
to go
accepting that, like if somebody else doesn't work in a good way, then it's gonna affect your performance.
And when did you get first go into competitions, like of any sport actually, after you quit swimming? Like when was the next competition?
Yeah, my dad wanted me to do the Super 8. That was actually an insane competition that was happening back then. It was a slalom ins and out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Super 8. It was full of kids, like basically all the good guys that now are on tour or were on tour before, they did it.
Was it like the figure 8 slalom format?
Figure 8 slalom, and they even had like gear for you if you didn't have gear or whatever. So he pushed me a couple of years to do that, but I never won it.
And where was this happening? Was it like happening all around Europe at that time?
Yeah, there was one in Marseille. That was like 3 hours from me. One in Garda they did. Is actually the one that he pushed me to do. Ferin, for example, won the one in Marseille and won a trip to Hawaii.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He went to Levi Cyber's house.
No way.
Because I didn't know him before, but I got to know it afterwards. But it was a really cool competition. But I was against. I really didn't like competing. I was like, why should I compete? I mean, I was not feeling myself as a competitor. I was competitive, but I didn't feel that I wanted to compete. No.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was, I think 16, my club was organizing this Trofeo Cippa, it's called. Cippa in Italian is like when there's no wind, you say today Cippa. And actually today is windy.
Today is not Cippa.
No. But so it was like a fun race, 70 people, beach start with shooting in the air.
Yeah.
and then you just jump in, like you go around the first mark, and then you just like have to go do a downwind course and cross the finish line. It was like a slalom open course, like super easy, no? Like and you could take part with everything. I was there, it was windy, I would go in the water anyway. I was like, yeah, with my I was trying to do freestyle. Never been good at it. But I jumped in with the freestyle and I did like second or third. Third I did. Third. Second went the guy that they said they cut the course.
So you think you were
That's
second
why
in your mind.
Second. Anyway, I got third, and actually I loved it because I was fighting with other friends like from the same club or people I was meeting there or whatever, and it was super cool. It was super fun. So I was like, fuck, this is actually fun. This slalom is nice, no? It was windy. It was not super windy, but it was on 5.8 and 105 liters freestyle. But it was good. And then that year, Andrea Cucchi started 0.7, and my dad is like, look, Andrea, I got to know him back before, like on Garda Lake, so maybe I can write him and see if he wants to let you try slalom, and maybe you can start with him and do something. So then in that winter, like when I was actually the year I was turning 17, he brought me to Sardinia a week in February, and I went to Cagliari where Andrea was developing the 0.7, and like he gave me some gear, Andrea, and I went sailing with him, and it was super cool. He was explaining me how it works and everything, and I liked it. And actually the first day, to see if I was tough or whatever, there is this golf that is super open, and he brought me doing like 15 kilometers and 15 kilometers back. And I remember I was dying. It was going around me, and I was destroyed. I never did slalom in my life. It was my first day on slalom gear. So he saw that I could sail, whatever. I was okay.
So
I was
you
good.
wanted to see how tough
And
you
he's
are.
like,
I guess,
okay,
huh?
let's go meeting my friends on the other side of the bay. And I thought like it was close, no? But it's like this, the wind, and pushes you out, and then you go back in.
Ah, I see.
And when you go back in, it's like actually where now they still train for RS6, whatever. It's a really important sailing club in Cagliari, Puerto.
Oh, so it was on Puerto Beach.
I was starting from the other side of the whole bay.
Oh wow, yeah. I've been there.
Quarto Santa Elena, it's called, like at the end. And we were sailing all the way to Puerto with Tramontana Mistral.
Yeah. No, it's a nice place.
Oh, it's beautiful. Basically, we had to do more than the whole beach of Puerto.
Yeah.
And it's long, eh?
Is it called like longest beach in Sardinia or something, no?
Yeah. And endless. And we were so far out, and but I loved it. And then it was like we were sitting down, he was explaining me the courses, the starting procedure. Like it was already over it, no? It was already like explaining me everything. You have to go there, the competition, you have to
arrive. At this point, you still haven't done any proper slalom competitions?
No, nothing. It was just explaining. And then I was like, okay, let's try. So my dad bought me like an Isonic, already starboard, and he bought from Andrea a couple of prototypes that he gave him for a cheaper price. And then I think I had 8.7, and this 127 Isonic from 2007. And I started doing regional competitions. I did in the summer I won the first regional competition ever. I did. Yeah.
You won it?
Yeah. I went to Tuscany and I met Malte.
Ah, so at that point you started meeting all the guys.
And we were like on the same level. And I think we ended up, we did 3 or 4 races and we ended up even on points, but I won the last one, so I won the competition.
Nice.
Yeah. That was cool.
And Ferrin was sailing at that time already as
well? No, it was on RS6 at the time. Ooh. So, no. The first time I met Ferrin was in 2008. So the year after, I did the 1 hour classic, the competition on Garda Lake where you do 1 hour up and down. That in 2007.
1 hour classic.
Yeah, they did 3 years in Pier windsurf. That is like not actually where we do it now. It's
on
like
the other
more
side.
upwind. Yeah, on the other side, more up in the lake, where the lake is narrower.
Mhm.
It's actually a windier place, but it's shorter, obviously, the course. And 2008, Ferin, I met him there because he stopped doing RS6. He started doing slalom.
So you're doing
And he
proper
came-
windsurfing,
Yeah, exactly. And he came to the 1 hour class.
still being in high school, yeah?
I was in high school. Yeah. So my dad was bringing me around. The first year and a half, he was bringing me around. Yeah.
And were you doing any IFCA championships, like junior races or something like that?
Yeah, I did in 2008, I think, in Garda Lake. It was the IFCA Junior Youth Master World Championship.
Wait, I'm thinking, because I did like a junior youth and master world championship in Garda as well, and I'm thinking if it was in 2008 or it was later. Wait, 2000?
I did I think 3-4 times since then, so
So
might
it
be
could
another
be
one.
that we met there already.
Might be. There was a lot of kids. I remember like
When I did it, I was I think in under 13 or under 15 division. I was like competing against
so then
Amado Vrieswijk, Connor Baxter,
yeah,
and so on.
Then it was that year. And it was that year.
Dane Schweitzer from the starboard team was also there.
Yeah, it was that year.
It was from Circolo Turbula organized, of course.
It was organized there, but we were sitting out from Conca.
Yeah.
It was
exactly.
that we had like a big
Shit,
cage.
I didn't know we met so
Yeah.
long ago.
And I registered the 10 meter because I thought I needed 10.
Yeah.
And actually, I was actually fast. There was Maciek, there was Ines. I mean, it was the first time I met actually other guys that I would meet afterward. I would met Lena.
Yeah.
And
I had no idea like that
there
all
was
of you
Pierre.
guys were there.
There were many guys from my age, and I did. I mean, I was fast because I was as fast as Ines that I won
Mhm.
because I tried before on the lake. I was the same, but I did so much shit. Like I went over early. I crashed first mark.
We're talking about the Garda competition. So basically, you did all the possible rookie mistakes.
Yeah, I
there.
did every kind of rookie mistake,
Yeah.
and then at the end, that I was over it already with my mind. I was like, I fucked up so bad. I went out on 10 meter, and it was like it picked up. It was like for me it was for 7-8.
Yeah.
I did this competition with the 10 meter. Then I took the 7-8, and it dropped. It was like 8-6. Basically, I would have been on 8-6 all the time. Would have been better, but as usual in Garda, basically. But that was my first international competition, and I fucked it up pretty bad.
So do you remember which place you finished?
8th.
So not so bad.
No, not so bad. But I mean, I was sailing before with Enes that won easily.
Yeah.
Easily,
You felt
by
you were
far.
similar speed.
And I had the same speed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was same or a little quicker on port tack, and it was quicker on starboard tack, but like was something ridiculous. No, so I was like, if this is the best guy, and it was like, it was the king, no, because he was the best youth back then, the only professional youth, because he was already on tour. He was already top 16 on tour. The guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was like, this is on big year. I'm good, no? And then actually I was not. and it came out that actually it was not. I mean, it was fast, but it was not like flying. It was more consistent in competing. No, starting good, driving good, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So there was Basti as well. I think he did podium Basti.
I need to check the results from that
I
race.
think Ines won, Basti second, and third Pierre.
Okay.
I guess, but
So
so
all
far I
the
remember
big guns.
Ines was by far the best one, and he was was there with his laptop, checking the emails, checking the flights to go I don't know wherever doing PWA. He was like,
So you were super impressed by him at that point?
no, I was like, fuck, this guy is already full on. No, I didn't even know because I come from another world.
Yeah.
It's not like Maciej, for example, when I talk with him, it's like he has been contact with these guys all the time, no?
Yeah.
I lived in my own world, in my own village forever.
Yeah.
And my parents never had any clue about this world,
Professional
no?
windsurfing world.
Zero. So then when I got in touch with this stuff, it was all new for me, no? So it was
Amazing.
it was weird. Not I was not impressed positively. It was just like weird, cool to know, but like.
Why weren't you impressed? Like,
I was impressed, but not like I was not like wow, incredible. No, I was just like
you weren't sure if you want to do that or something at that point yet?
I didn't know if I had the level to do it. I'm kind of a humble guy. I don't know. I'm not like a guy that says I'm gonna. When I got in touch with this, I thought, am I good enough to do that? Will I be good enough? Will I get there anywhere, anytime? I didn't believe it. I was like, I will try slowly, but
and see what happens.
Yeah, but I never thought I will be professional. No, I was taking it step by step, but I never thought.
I remember in that competition myself, I've never done like proper slalom competition even in Lithuania. That was my first international competition as well, there to the World Championships, and I didn't even have a start watch. I didn't even know that people had start watches. And my parents also didn't know because they were not doing like competitions. And then like someone like I think like told us that like, yeah, you need a start watch to start. And I'm like, I've been doing 3 days without it and I'm fine. And I'm obviously like late 30 seconds to each start or something. But yeah, it was a fun start.
At the beginning it's hard to understand how it all works. You're like in this cloud, like trying to realize.
Yeah, I think I was like 14 at that time, and like going to Garda Lake, going to Circolo for like the skipper's meeting or something, then going to Konka to rig, and then having to navigate your way through this massive lake in between the mountains to find where your start is, to understand when your heat is, and then to start on the right heat at the right time or something like. It seems like hard. Solving like a problem of mathematics.
The hardest is that no one is there to teach you to. I mean, in all the other sports, you have like someone that brings you up.
Yeah.
Like an idiot, basically, because they really tell you. Even if you play volleyball or if you play whatever.
Yeah, you have
they
like
even
a
explain
coach
you
and
how
everything.
to bring up your shoes. I don't know how to, and then they take care, no, like how,
they take you to the competition, tell you when to go out.
Your parents have no idea because maybe they say it as you say, but my dad has competed in Mistral, in Volume, I don't know, in a lot of stuff, but it's been ages. Since then, he hasn't competed in anything, and then the gap was big, whatever. No, so no one is there for. I had Andrea explaining me, but obviously he had his own competition. I don't know, he had other stuff to do.
Yeah.
I guess he was senior, so he was not actually taking part. But anyway, he had something different. You're left there alone, and you're just like facing this new stuff, trying to figure out everything. Stressed as nothing else.
Yeah. Exactly.
Running, rushing, always late, always with the wrong gear, wrong sail, wrong board.
For me it was good because I didn't have much gear. I had like a 6'2", 110 liter board.
Yeah.
That was like slalom, and then I had like wave sails and no smaller board. So I was just like always going on the 6'2" and 110 liters, and from my size at that point it was like the perfect gear for Garda, it turned out, so it wasn't too bad.
I had in that moment I had 7.0, 7.8, 8.6 and 10.0. So I had this 4 and 2 boards. And I was struggling. I kept the same big board I had the year before, and I had a medium board, this 107. Actually, it was the 105, I guess, or the 95. I don't know. I had like a smaller one. And then for me, it was difficult to choose as well. And I had this G10.
Especially in Garda, because you don't even see where the start is.
No, I had no idea. I mean, the Bonal is windier. All this stuff I had to feel. I mean, it's. But it's nice, it's good memories. It's cool.
No, but when I'm thinking now it seems like also intuitive to do it and everything, but I'm thinking back then I had like absolutely no idea what was going on.
Zero. So no one did for us, and then...
But I guess it's kind of like part of the fun, right? Like figuring out all this stuff as you go along.
When you look back at it, it's super interesting. But when you're living it, you're just stressed.
Yeah. After school, did you go to university?
Yeah, I studied because I didn't believe that I could be professional straight away. So actually, I didn't believe I could be professional in a way that I am now, that I can live out of it, whatever. I always thought it would be, I don't know, I didn't have any things about it, but I thought I had to go university, then working. I didn't know what to do. I checked, and there was this business connected with the business school, connected to the, it's called the Economia Marittima, is connected to the all the shipyards, all the tankers. I mean,
So
it's
the port
business
life, I guess.
about the harbor, and like being a broker in the harbor, whatever. Because like at least I will live close by the sea and whatever. And I studied that, and I did like first year full. Second year I was studying actually to skip the lessons, but I was still doing all the exams. And third year I was still in with the exams and everything. The third year you actually have the first degree. It was the first year I had like the chance to do the PWA, the whole PWA tour. I mean, part of the PWA, and then I stopped the studies. But the PWA already started before. So in 2009 I did my first events, but was to grow up was not to do PWA. I realized that actually the only way to grow up properly was to face the best ones. After like I did this youth thing in Garda, so I was nowhere. I was like, it's useless if I keep winning, I don't know, national, regional competitions, not national. It's a lot better if I face PWA and then I go back to the national, and maybe I can grow up in the national. I can be better. After I face the best ones in the world, I go back to Italy, and obviously I will grow, no? And it worked out, obviously. And then in 2012 I won the European Championships, IFCA, in Roses in Costa Brava.
Yeah.
There was Arnaud, there was Pierre, there were many guys. It was Maciek.
So was it your first big
Kestel,
international win?
Yeah. And it was the first year I was Challenger F2. And
so
then
was Challenger F2 like your first big sponsor then?
I got sponsored. So after I was 0.7 starboard, Luis Marqueger, that is the dad of Greta.
Yeah, I know.
Luis offered me a sponsorship, like I could get the gear, like 3 boards and 6 sails at the beginning of the year, and I had to give it back at the end. So for me it was already incredible. It was obviously, I was not spending anything. I was like windsurfing with brand new gear, no? And then because of that, and because of the money of my sailing club that was supporting some trips, I could start doing, obviously because of my parents that were helping me, I started doing some PWA events and to grow up. And I did 3 years with Luis.
Was it,
And
but
in
Luis, was
2009,
it
10, 11,
starboard, what gear did you have?
JP Gastra.
JP Gastra.
Yeah, because he was Gastra before Gastra got connected to Taboo. Back in the days when Taboo was like a custom brand.
Yeah.
And he got into JP before like kind of JP got super connected to Nip Pride, so he had like JP Gastra, this weird combination. Actually, it was already existing JP Nip Pride and Gastra Taboo, but it was still
not super
no,
connected.
it was like a dealer for JP and Gastra. And then I got JP Gastra these 3 years, and I got supported by him really good, and it's been super cool. And then the third year, Danny Eberly was working for F2,
right?
and I was doing, I think, the Swiss Cup in year. No, I was in Garda with Albi, with Roberto, and he told me if I wanted to try the board, that he could give me like, I think, 9 boards free of charge, or something like that, 8 boards free of charge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds
gave
like
me
a fantastic
good
offer,
deal,
no?
As I fact. Then I tried the board with Alberto, and the board was fast. I tried the big board, the 82 wide, SX F2, and then I was like, fuck yeah! But I need the sales. Then I talked with then Claudio Badiali, the guy from Challenger, talked to me, and I went to Sardinia to this evento. It's like was an event in Sardinia, promotional with some races, and I tried the Challenger, and it was really good. So on the Challenger, so I connected the thing, and I was like, okay, fine. And then I did 2012 and 13 on Challenger 2, and in 12 I won the IFCA, and 13 I got my first PWA podium in Costa Brava. And 13 is the year that I got PowerX sponsoring me, giving me some money and everything. It was the first year I decided to stop studying and become professional.
So was it like that the moment where you realized you can become professional windsurfer?
Yeah, like the year between 12 and 13 was the year where I was like, okay, I I got PowerX, I got like some more sponsor, I got some more money. I saw that I could gain some money out of it. I was like, this is the dream of my life, to not to live out of windsurfing, but to be able to go on the water whenever I want and call it a job.
Yeah.
Because then should I keep going studying, or should I go all in that? At least is my dream, and I go for it, no?
Yeah.
And then I just stopped. I was like, okay, stop studying and I go all in. So when I came here in Tenerife, I trained the whole winter, and then we went to Korea, and I got third, and then I got the first podium in Costa Brava. I got a third in the winter final in Korea, and then I got third in Costa Brava 2013 with Challenger 2, my first PWA podium.
Nice.
Yeah.
So going on to the experiences on tour, what would you say was like your best and worst moment in competition?
The best moment is my first event win. There are two, I guess. First event win in 2015 in Costa Brava again.
Mm-hmm.
Quite funny that I got my first podium and my first event win in Costa Brava.
And the IFCA.
And the IFCA as well.
So it seems
But
like
it was a bit further in the bay. It was like in Roses, but still, yeah, same
what a big
win,
difference.
same spot. And then
So that's what seems to be working well for you, huh?
yeah, apparently. And I had as well 2016 when I won the World Championship, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The first PWA victory in an event and the World Championship win have been the best. And the worst is probably the one I felt the worst was in 2015 when I was fighting for the title in New Caledonia, and I completely fucked up the event.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really upsetting, because like when I fuck up the event because something is happening to you, at least you have an excuse that is like, but then it was just like me fucking up. Actually, now I grew up in a different way, because now if I fuck up myself and it's not something outside, I can deal with it better than if it's something coming from the outside. But back then I was feeling it worse if I was personally fucking it up.
Mm-hmm. So it was like from then till now, I guess you grew a lot mentally as well.
Yeah. And then this destroyed my it was the year Alberto died where I talked about it. Then I got there fighting for the title. It was an amazing season, and I felt like I missed the finish line. I did 2 over earlies. I crashed on the start line. I crashed on the mark qualifying. All the bullshit I could do, I did it.
Yeah.
And I ended up third, and it was my first PWA podium. Overall.
Ranking podium.
I felt like a big loss, and I couldn't sleep for a month. I was super stressed. It was a shitty moment. Even though it was indeed a really good result.
Yeah.
But I realize it now. Back then I was feeling
horrible.
bad. Yeah.
And have you had any big injuries, or like any injuries at all while on tour, while windsurfing?
And windsurfing, I 3/4 broke my ligament, medial, it's called. Not the
knee?
Mm-hmm. The one inside the knee. Jibing in Malcesino in Garda, actually.
Jibing,
yeah,
really?
The front foot was stuck in a foot strap, while the back foot, the left foot, slapped in the water, and then I twisted because the front foot was stuck in, the knee twisted.
Oh.
And then it got inflated, but I kept saying, I was like, whatever, nothing happened. And actually, I had this 3/4 broken, so I had to stay.
When did that happen?
2011.
So quite early.
Yeah. It was cold water in the morning. I didn't feel good. I board good, and when I took out the back foot and I put the first jibe, I put the foot on the other side. The foot just went in there,
right off,
and the front foot was stuck.
And what was the aftermath? And you had to stay off the water for a while?
1 month, and then I started rehab.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I still have some problems. It's still moving a little bit. If I go trekking or something,
But you didn't need to get a surgery or anything?
No, you cannot. For that, you just have to wait. It heals by itself. But yeah. It's not like the
ACL.
ACL that you have to operate. That one you have to wait. You cannot do anything. And then I had minor injuries like shit wave sailing, but nothing amazing. Then last year I almost broke my foot in Margaret River wave sailing.
Yeah, like the typical hitting the lip and the foot getting stuck?
Yeah, like
or?
on starboard tack, like sailing on. So when you wave ride, you're on board. I'm regular. I feel the timing better. So usually maybe I fuck up the timing or whatever, but I know it and I get out of the gear earlier or whatever. And they have more timing. While on board, so when you actually wave ride on starboard tack, I have less timing, especially in down the line condition when I have to be quicker sometimes to do aerials or something. And then like I was in Margaret with all the good guys. There was Philip, there was like all the Dieter, all
the photo
good
shoot
guys
as well.
doing the photo shoot of starboard and so on. I was helicopter, the jet ski is shooting or whatever, and they had the freestyle wakeboard, so it's not turning quick either. And then I was trying to go for an area all the time, but Margaret is heavy, no?
It
So
wasn't small, I guess, huh?
No, it was like almost mast high, and then like I was going either too late or too early, mainly too early or too late. I was leaving the gear, and I was like, fuck it, I go later and I hold everything, no? And then it just smashed me, and I could take out the feet from the footstraps. So the front foot got stuck in, as it did when I was driving. I got washed.
And you were being washed.
I got the first lap under the wave with the front foot in the footstrap. And then I took it out, but it was enough for it to actually, I think, taking it out while I was getting washed, I bent the foot sideways. So these overstretched the ligaments, broke 3 bones inside. They didn't snap, but they had inside. There are these cuneiforms bones that are like cubic, and they got micro fractures inside. They are painful and keeps the inflammation in, and it takes ages to, because there is less blood coming around. So obviously
it takes ages to heal.
So I still have a little bit of pain.
Yeah, it took you a while to recover that when you were like here in Tenerife.
Yeah, it took me a month to sail, and then still I had pain until June, I think, July, from the 3rd of February when it happened.
So every time you were sailing, you were feeling it?
Yeah. I had to warm up, and then I went to massage it, but I mean, there are millions of these small bones and these small ligaments, and I fucked the whole thing up. So when I was pulling with the front foot in slalom, that's the part that you are actually using, and I was hurting it. So that
in windsurfing you put your like legs, especially in a lot of weird positions where like normally like you wouldn't feel anything, but like if you like put it like in the foot strap, like pulling back, then you feel something happening, right?
Yeah, let's say from mid of May on, I didn't have any problem walking or something, but windsurfing with the foot in foot strap, pulling, because you are doing this lever, no? Like the foot strap is pushing you down, you are pulling up and it's bending and you are holding it, and
like
horrible.
This pulling back with the foot up motion is quite unnatural. Like normally, like a human doesn't use that muscle in that position a lot.
And you are doing this lever, no?
Yeah.
With the heel and the toes and this weird lever you don't do. You never do it. I mean, why should you?
Okay, so now talking about, you obviously been on tour for a while, photo shoots all around the world. Do you have like a favorite place to go? Let's say a few favorite places. So let's go for 3. So first favorite place to slalom race.
To slalom race, so far the best one has been Viana do Castelo in Portugal to compete in slalom.
Just because you strong wind.
It's strong wind. The quality of the water is super nice. It's smooth. It's wavy, but you can reach super high speeds because between the waves there is space and there is like smooth water. The wind can be nuclear. The beach is nice. The environment is super cool.
Then best place for wave sailing?
Okipa.
Yeah. And number 2 for wave sailing?
Capomano in Sardinia.
That famous spot, okay. And finally, best place to party after windsurfing?
So far from what I remember, Austria.
From what I remember.
When it was long time ago. Podersdorf.
Yeah, and from what you don't remember?
The point is that it was my first event, so I was surprised how the party was. So might be that I have this memory because it was the first time I was partying on this level, but that was insane.
Yeah. And I don't know, what was your best trip like that you did, like windsurfing or surfing trip, like more adventurous exploration wise?
I like surfing by far this year in Bali.
Mm-hmm.
Sick. I mean, we got amazing waves every day, surfing wise, and windsurfing. Interesting has been Peru. Has been really nice because I discovered the whole coast. Surfing when we surf in Chicama, there is actually a surfing wave, wave riding it. But it's been fun, but it's been rough. I mean, it's been dangerous sometimes. It's nice, but I think Maui. I've been Maui shooting and like staying. I've been staying there for a month and a half or something before after the shoot, and it was super cool.
Awesome. Cool. Going on a little bit different tangent and a little bit more kind of, I don't know, emotional, psychological, how to call it. What does windsurfing mean to you at the moment? What kind of place does it hold in your life?
I think the point is that I cannot really live without it, but this is obviously because it's my job. But I don't know, it's something that is like, it's the core of my life. I mean, I can't imagine my life without water sports in general, without windsurfing especially. So it's like basically what I do. I wake up and I go windsurfing, I check the forecast, I know it's something natural, it's part of me. So I cannot really imagine myself without competing and without windsurfing. So this is the most...
This is an interesting point. Like, want to like dive a little bit more into that. So now you say you cannot imagine your life without competing.
No.
But how did that transition happen from like you being a teenager, who, as you said, had no interest in competition, into becoming like, obviously one of the most fierce competitors on the tour? Was it like a gradual thing, or?
It was gradual. It's also part of like understanding who you are. Because like I understood that I'm actually a competitive person. I'm not like a person who doesn't like competition. I always like competition actually. Looking back now from my point of view now, I always like. The point is that this official competition, I think that I was kind of refusing it now because I have this bad memory, whatever. But it's part of me, and I love it. I think it's like this is the same, I guess, for big wave rider, or I mean, it's something you fear. And at the same time, it's attractive.
Yeah.
It's something you fear, something you, and this makes you feel alive, no? Because you are scared, you have this emotion coming up,
adrenaline
and everything, and then you miss it, then you need it. So it's not that you do it because you do it because it's something natural. It's something that you need.
And looking into the future and like your life connected to windsurfing, where do you see it going? Do you see yourself like staying on the tour for another 20 years? Like if like comparing to Antoine Albert, who's been like he's like near to 20 years older than you probably.
Yeah, 18.
Now?
Yeah.
18. Yeah. So do you think you'll stay that long on tour?
When I see him, I actually say yes. When I think he's 48, I say no.
So let's talk about future plans within windsurfing that you have. So for me personally, I know that some of my goals are to ride windsurfing and surfing some of the biggest waves in the world. So obviously Jaws being one of the most iconic waves. Nazar is also on my list, and then obviously there are quite a few more. Do you have any similar ideas or plans?
Yeah, obviously, like I'm super attracted by the big waves, so I would love to surf and windsurf big waves. I bought myself a step up last year to start to get into it, like 2 years ago actually. But I only had like one session that was actually big in the north here. But I don't know. The point is that you have to dedicate a lot of time to it, and I never had the opportunity to give it too much time. Jaws as well, I would love to sail it. I think it's doable. The point is that how do you do it? I want to do it with a proper board, so get myself a custom for Jaws. I want to do it in a proper way so that I mean, not being scared is a big word, but like I want to get ready on the breathing side, on like training with the impact vest, with the inflatable vest, getting ready so that you can get into it with a bit less fear, trusting yourself and enjoying actually the session. and for this takes time. So we were to spend the winter in Maui and like get ready, and it's something I would love to do, but I need the opportunity to do it because you either do one thing or the other, no? So you have to kind of choose, kind of do all together. But yeah, obviously I want to do something like that. That's it.
And what about more windsurfing exploration, big crossings, ideas, projects? For example, like most of us saw last night, there was a transatlantic race crossing movie streamed by PWA. So obviously this was done quite a while ago. Do you have any similar ideas or projects?
Yeah, I would love to do like I already started organizing it, but then like the plans went wrong because I had other stuff to take care of with my region, like a crossing from my region to Corsica. It is like it's not too far, but it's no one did it so far with the windsurf. I guess maybe Kailani did it from France on the kite, but windsurfing from Italy nobody did it. And it's something close and doable. Obviously, it's just about having the right sponsors and the right opportunity to do that. It's not like Jaws, it's like about having the right boat, right timing, checking the forecast in the correct way. Yeah, obviously, I would love to do it. I'm fully attracted by exploration. I was watching this documental from John Florence, Vela.
Oh yeah,
it came out the full stuff now. You should watch it.
It's awesome.
And it's like sailing around the Pacific Ocean to these islands, remote islands. It's cool, no? I'm fully attracted by that.
Yes, one of the ideas I actually have is going to Africa with like a 4x4 camper and exploring like African coastline for windsurfing and surfing new spots, as well as like they have some inland lakes, quite big lakes. And yeah, like would love to spend like a few months doing that.
That's good idea. It's something I see. For example, when you talked to me before about my careers or whatever, I think you have like relatively like not too much time. So I want to win as much as possible because it's what I love. But as well, I want to leave myself like some time to do something interesting. That is not related to competing. It's still like windsurfing, surfing, exploring, traveling because I love it, but it's not like only competing. So probably if I stop earlier, it's just because I want to give myself the opportunity to do that, and your body doesn't allow you to do it forever. No, it's like let's say until 20 more years easily, and in those 20 years I would love to fit a lot of stuff. So that's the interesting part.
Yeah, it's interesting because like when, for example, if you're talking about crossings, there are like so many places that would be like interesting to cross, and also there's quite a bit of history. For example, I forgot the name of the guy, but there was a French guy, I think in the 80s or 90s, that tried to cross from Alaska to Russia, like one way or another. Rosnay, I think is his name.
Memory of it. No idea. Never watched it.
But there is. I don't think there is a documentary. I think like they're talking about him when they're doing the transatlantic race, and I saw some old movies that also talk about him. He was like a good racer back in the day. But yeah, I think he did like a few different like crazy crossings like that, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he went missing on this one between Russia and Alaska.
Ah yeah?
Yeah, or something like that. But yeah, so that kind of like that story like it definitely like inspired me a lot to like try and think of some interesting ways. Or like more recently there was this guy who did like on race board like sailing around Europe from Norway to Greece, I think, or somewhere like that. So yeah, there have been a few kind of inspirational windsurfing trips, but if you compare it to like other adventure sports, not so many. So I think there's quite a bit of open slate.
Yeah, the point is that the average speed is also can be high.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, there is a lot of stuff to do now.
Yeah. Cool. And going more into like further away from the competition side, your girlfriend Blanca, she's also windsurfing.
Yeah.
I guess you guys met through windsurfing, right? Or
yeah, we met in Tarifa. We met in Tarifa because she's living there, and I go there testing for starboard many times. And she started testing as well for the girls, for the foiling and stuff, and then we met. We met like that.
Do you guys train together at the moment sometimes?
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's something different, something weird. No, it's cool. She's falling really good. So.
Do you enjoy having like a partner who's windsurfing as well?
It's nice. Actually, I never thought about it before, and I've actually always thought that it would have been hard for some reasons. But we are actually going really good along, so it's good so far. We share kind of similar passions, same passions, and everything makes it easier. Until now, it makes it easier, so it's nice.
Yeah, because I guess like a lot of guys say, it's hard to like be in a relationship when you're doing like a full tour on PWA because you are like away from home so much time.
Yeah.
But like having someone who's doing the tour as well.
Yeah, she's also like able to understand all the stuff, and that on that side makes it easier. And we haven't lived yet like a whole tour together or something like that. We'll see, but I think it's gonna be fine. Till now. And it's cool. As I said, like sharing surfing, sharing this gypsy life, windsurfing. It's cool. It's something nice.
Yeah. And what else do you do nowadays besides windsurfing? Well, nowadays you do everything besides windsurfing because we're not windsurfing.
Jesus.
But let's say a few months ago, what do you do besides windsurfing?
I do train in the gym. Like a couple of times a week. I do 2 or 3 trainings, set of trainings in the gym in the week. And I have a coach from Sardinia, from Cagliari, Giuseppe, and he takes care of it. So it depends on the moment of the season. He either does myself a program for gaining weight or gaining strength or keeping strength or keeping weight throughout the season. Like if I have a gym available, if I don't have it, different stuff. But
And what about hobbies? Do you have any weird hobbies? Like, do you play chess or do you like Sudoku or something like that?
No, I actually like playing chess, but I don't do it anymore. I never find the opportunity. Actually, I like it. I love it.
We should play online chess then. Because I used to play chess a lot as well.
Let's do it.
And,
let's do it now, today.
We can do it. Because I used to play, I even did like competitions in like primary and elementary school. I did like
too.
chess competitions.
Me too, but I was 10 years old.
Same. Like I quit like
with
competing.
My friends, I don't know, with local...
I quit, I think, like doing chess competitions and like when I was like 12 or something. But I still have a book about like chess rules and like tricks at home. And
it didn't go so far, but I was playing a lot.
Yeah.
My dad loved it as well, so.
I just asked about chess like randomly, like as one of the things that turns out you do. Okay.
Yeah. I did. Now it's been I actually played the last time with Blanca in Bali.
Okay.
There was this weird restaurant, open space, like we could see the sky and everything, and they had these games.
Yeah.
So after dinner we just stayed there like weirdos, and we had a match.
Yeah.
That was cool.
2 nerds. So anyway, like while we're still in lockdown, we can open like El Medano online chess league or something.
Yeah. Maybe
cool.
Maybe we'll have more money with that than with any other business nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's like any money in the chess game, but we can explore that.
Yeah, we should try. We should see.
And use our brains at least for once for a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously, like one of the things you're not talking for some reason that you do, but you just opened the windsurfing center.
Yeah. I thought you would ask me, so don't want to be heavy on it, like just talking
like
all the time about
push.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
No,
sense.
but tell me like how. First of all, how did you came up with the idea of opening a windsurfing center? Did you have it like already like for a long time? You said you worked in a windsurfing center back at home when you were just starting out.
It's not a windsurfing center. It's like more a sailing club that does canoes, does other stuff. But I grew up there. I was teaching there, and I always had in my mind to open like a windsurfing center and kind of get some money out of it and promote my sport somewhere else where actually there is wind, there is waves.
Yeah.
You can enjoy windsurfing properly. And then, like, I thought it was something again in the future. One of those projects that you see, but you never like, okay, I do it now, no? Mm-hmm. And then last September, I got this opportunity to actually have a partner here and like open it open it like using my image, but not like working full time in it because I have no time for it and everything, and using my knowledge to actually promote it and to make it work, but then actually not like staying here all the time. And I was like, should I do it? Shouldn't I? And then I thought, well, it's some of these opportunities that sometimes you don't take, and then you are thinking about it, no? Like afterward, like yeah, fuck it, whatever, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like from like thinking about it, I just came here 3 days, checked out the place, did papers, and then we opened. It was the wrong year to open, but I think it will be fine in the future because the place is good. I think it's the best actually. I mean, obviously I will say that because my center is there, but so far it's been 2 years. I've been sailing out from the North Bay in Manila. That is where the center is, and I feel as if it's actually a better place to sail out from because the waves are really close to if you want to wave sail. If you just want a free ride, there is no one because above that place there is no beach. So in the end, that means that there is no kiters, no windsurfers. Apart from the guys that come out from there.
It's definitely much less busy than the South Bay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like when
exactly,
I've been talking to other people, like, and like, what's the difference? Is like, I'm like, yeah, sailing in South Bay is like walking in London, while there is like, yeah, you're in the desert and like you can choose to sail alone, and okay, if you want to sail with other people there, like you can find 5 other people in the bay to sail with you.
Yeah, yeah, that's the point, no? And it's like a good bump and jump spot right in front, so it's like good for everyone. If it's wavy, it's sheltered, so you can get in the water quite easily. It's just a little bit gusty the first like 150 meters, but it's like manageable because it's less wavy. But then you get out, it's super clean wind, and actually it's more clean because there is no harbor, nothing. So as soon as you get out of the small bay, then it's like fully clean. There's no one, and then you just sail downwind like 200 meters, and you are like in Cabezo, jumping, wave sailing, whatever. And the beach is nice, so I think it's gonna work fine. Just the wrong moment for everyone, I guess.
Obviously, it's wrong moment for everything now.
Yeah.
But how long did it take you to open the center from, let's say, the first contact you had about the specific place to like actually opening the doors?
From the beginning of September, let's say the 5th of September, something like that, 10th of September, came here on the 10th of October, I guess, to sign some papers, and we opened on the 18th of January.
So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months?
5 months.
Yeah. So that's quite fast, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, the good thing is that my partner was already kind of with it. I was just searching for a partner to open it.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was kind of all settled, no?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have to find a place, then the deal came up because it's a full Severn experience center, it's a full Severn. So I'm Severn rider. So obviously, being like that made everything easier, no? Like quicker, the relationship, the order, the contacts. So like speed up because of many reasons. So because the place was already there, empty, ready, brand new. I had the contacts. My partner had knowledge here with the bank, with everything. So everything came up quite quickly.
Would you say it was easier or harder than you expected to open it?
Harder.
Harder, yeah?
Yeah, harder. Every little thing is kind of harder than what I thought. The bureaucracy, the small things you have actually to do in concrete inside, like from hanging the sails to whatever, like every part is kind of. I thought it was everything a lot easier, but it's interesting. It's a way to grow up in a different way. I mean, I got to know stuff that I didn't know before, and it's good for me. It's perfect.
Cool. I think that's about it. Like we talked about the future, about everything. So
it's cool.
That's all the questions I had for now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
Let's see how the future projects evolve. Starting with the chess league and finishing with the going sailing at Jaws.
Maybe. Let's go sailing first. Let's go
Which
back
one
to the
is
water.
harder?
Let's go back to the water and then we'll see about Jaws.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks to you. It's been cool.
Yeah.
Something
and maybe we do another one in a few months or in a few years.
Sure.
Awesome.
Be happy to it.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.